Hi guys, ArchieLuxury here. Today I got a special guest, Machine Gun Chris, and we're going to talk market update. Let's run the intro and discuss the story. Guys, and welcome to the show. Today, guys, I got a very special guest. This is one of my the guys I've loved so much. He was on the Luxury Bazaar, their YouTube channel. What was the name of that's the Roman Sheriff channel? I think it's called, isn't it?
Roman Sharp, yes, sir.
And this is Machine Gun Chris, who was actually my favorite guy on the show there. And Machine Gun Chris has actually left Luxury Bazaar, but no hard feelings. It's all cool. But today I want to talk to him about the wristwatch market. Guys, at the time of recording this video, it is July 2023. The economy, well, it hasn't crashed, but we've had some interest rate rises. There's been a little bit tightening in the market. And I thought probably one of the best people we could get is somebody who's been at the coalface and he's also left the coalface. So tell me, Machine Gun Chris, firstly,
me,
before
Archie.
we start, how are you, man? How are
Can't
you?
complain. How about you?
Hey, I'm fantastic. I'm getting better. We had obviously, I had a real tragedy last year with the robbery, but you know what? You got to try your best to move forward. You can't always just, sometimes bad shit happens and you just got to refocus.
The past is the past for a reason, right?
Past is the past for a reason. Now, just to give our viewers a bit of a run through, how long did you work at Luxury Bazaar for?
I was there almost 2 years.
2 years. That's a long time. Whew. That is a very fast-paced business.
It is.
And what was the most expensive watch you sold when you were there?
Actually, right before I left was the FB Zorn Sovereign. I sold one for $425,000 US to a private collector. I won't say what country or where he's from but it was a private collector and he's enjoying that piece still. So
wow.
That was an expensive piece I sold.
That's absolutely. So tell me this: you were there for a long time too. That's a fairly long stretch. It's easy to see how you can get burnt out in that industry. It's a very results-driven industry, and it is very fast-paced. Tell me, what is happening now? What is the market like now compared to the peak of the market that you would have enjoyed?
I'm still in a couple of the gray market groups, like the dealer chats and everything. So not as many as when I was obviously working for LB, because I was in like 10 or 20. But I'm in about 2 or 3 right now. And from what I'm seeing now compared to what it was before, I'm not seeing a lot of need to quotes. I'm seeing a lot of the dealers are starting to try to sell off their inventory to other dealers, dealer to dealer, basically business to business. It's not a lot. I see a few need to quotes here and there or sold order. Dealer talk sold orders. Obviously, somebody puts a deposit down. They want said watch and they're looking for that watch. But you don't really see as much of that anymore. So I feel like things are slowing down compared to how they were. But I think people are waiting on a lot of things. I mean,
yes. Tell me this: what price segment do you think has had the biggest reduction? What price point is there a certain ceiling where that anything over 50,000, anything over 30,000? What's the price point that's taken the biggest jump off the cliff?
Honestly, a lot of your staple pieces have gone down. Like obviously, John Mayer's gone down compared to what it was.
Sure.
It was selling for 100,000 plus. Now it's like
Yeah.
right around what 80 to 90, depending on condition and year. But that's
Yeah.
all also going to be one of your big pieces. But I feel like AP probably has taken a decent hit. And Richard
Yeah.
Mill has actually, which Richard Mill historically has not really taken a big hit, but I think they're
Yeah.
starting to take a big hit even.
Okay. What's the view on Vacheron? I'm hearing Vacheron's taken a lot of their models are no longer super premium.
Yeah, you can get as I think we mentioned before in your live stream, my Grail watch is the 4500V, the blue dial,
Yeah,
and you can basically get one of those now at retail
I
in the
see.
secondary market. I mean, maybe a little bit
See.
above retail. Retail is what 21,000 for those, I believe, US.
Yep. Yep.
And you can
Yeah.
probably get one 23 to 25, I would say.
Tell me this. Say you're a collector. You've got a nice collection. Would you be what should you be doing? Tell me this. Do you think you should sell now or wait 12 months? What now? Obviously, this is crystal ball gazing, and I'm not going to
Yeah,
hold it to it if you're wrong. We
yeah.
can only make a guesstimate. We can only guess. But would you be selling now, or would you be waiting 12 months?
See, I feel like if you're a collector, I feel like now is the time to buy because things are down right now. I don't know that things
Yeah.
are going to come back up. I have a feeling that everything's kind of stabilized and it's going to stay where it's at for a little while. And I don't want to
Yes.
bring geopolitics into it, but I have a feeling a lot of people are waiting to see what happens in Ukraine, Russia, and then
Sure.
obviously the Chinese situation is a lot of people know the Asian market is a huge market, and I have a
Yeah.
feeling that China is obviously watching what's going on in Ukraine, Russia.
Yeah.
They're watching that, obviously the Taiwan situation. So I have a feeling a lot hedges on that. Whether they'll
Yes.
make a move, I hope they don't, but I feel like a lot will hedge on that as well.
Fair point there. Tell me this. If you were sitting on a large number of Rolex, would you be getting out or holding?
Um, Honestly, it just depends on what kind of situation you're in. Like, if
Yes.
you owe a lot of money or you're in debt, then yeah, I would
Sure.
suggest selling off. But if you're not, then I would probably hold.
Hold. Okay. Okay. Tell me this. When the market gets tougher, you get a lot more people trying to sell than people trying to buy, and of course, then the flow-on effect is reduction in price, supply and demand. Tell me this: the number of buyers that are in the market now, has that dramatically decreased?
That has at least from what I've seen. Like I said, I'm no longer in the
Sure.
business full time, but I mean I do
Yeah.
it on the side now. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen, there's not as many buyers as there are sellers. I feel like the sellers,
Yeah.
people are selling off more now than people are buying.
Got you. What brands do you think are the safest brands to hold?
Anything that you can get at retail, when I say retail, from the authorized dealer or the boutique, I
Sure.
would say even though I mentioned Richard Mill took a hit, but that was secondary
Yeah.
market. But you're always usually going to make money on Richard Mill. You're going to make money on most APs like the 15500, stuff like that, if you can get it at retail.
Yeah.
But at Patek, obviously, 5167, any of the rose gold complications, any of those, I feel like
Yes.
you're safe with those. That's at retail,
Yes.
basically.
Yes. Tell me this, with I'm going to run a few scenarios through you and tell me which ones you'd prefer to, if you are holding stock, what do you think is likely to have a lesser fall? Two watches. Let's have a look at this.
Okay.
A Pepsi and an Explorer 2. Which one do you think is the better investment there at the
I would
moment?
would go for Pepsi because Pepsi's, at least as of now, is holding steady value. It's actually making, what
Mhm.
do they retail for? $11,000, I think, US.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
going for close to what, $20,000, depending on whether you
Yeah.
get Jubilee or Oyster.
Yeah.
And whereas the Explorer is going to which I love the Polar Explorer, and I know you
Yeah.
have that one. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite watches. I do want to own that one.
Yeah.
But the Polar Explorer is basically like retail plus tax, secondary market.
Okay, so if you had a choice of one Pepsi or two Explorer 2s, what would you rather do? Same money, approximately same money.
I would probably honestly go Pepsi in that route.
Okay, go Pepsi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And with Daytonas, the Panda,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say the Daytona compared to, say, a gold, solid gold? There's some bargains in the solid gold, white
There
gold,
are.
especially. What would you rather have, Panda
Per-
or a solid gold?
Personally, I'd rather have the Panda, but that's just aesthetically more pleasing to me. But
Sure.
Rolex does gold like nobody else. I feel like Rolex does
Yes.
gold. A lot of people might not like me for saying this, but I feel like Rolex does gold better than AP, better than Vacheron. Like your two-tone bluesy, that's like one of my favorite watches. From my
Mhm.
time at LV handling all the different Rolexes that we got to handle every single day, I
Yes.
grew kind of like a fond appreciation of their gold pieces or their two-tone pieces, like the root beer. The root beer is one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
Whereas
No,
before,
no.
I would have never seen myself wearing something like that. But now that I've seen it, I love it.
Yes. Yes. No, that's a fair point there. I got to tell you my own opinion. I actually recently sold my Maserati blue Daytona. I'll just bring up a picture so you can see it on the screen there. I recently I sold it off, and
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting watch because they're selling for a premium, the racing blue dial. They're a lot more expensive than a standard white or black,
Mm-hmm.
and they're no longer available. You've got to buy a vintage one. And I bought one after I had a little bit of insurance money came in, but I decided to sell it because I kind of thought, you know what? Money's getting more expensive. I wanted to pay some debt down. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
sell it because I don't love the watch. It's not because I hated the watch. I sold it because I thought, you know what? I'd like to keep the money up my sleeve. I'm a bit worried with the economy. That was the reason why I sold it. I don't think the price on that watch is going to necessarily go down,
No.
but I don't see you making. I don't think it would make money in the next 12 months. I think the watch market is going to be fairly. It's going to be. I don't see prices crashing, but I don't see prices massively rising. So it's a tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing to predict there. But my own opinion, the next 12 months, I think it's going to be snafu, situation normal, all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Snafu. It's going to be a lot of the same. I think where problems come in is if you've got pieces which are, as you mentioned, that Vacheron, I think the premium on that sort of piece is going to be less. The core Rolex, Patek Philippe, that sort of highly desired watches they're gonna hold. But
Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest with you, the premiums that Vacherons were going for, maybe that is going to come back a long way. Vacheron, I've got a friend of mine who's a huge Vacheron collector, and Vacheron's had some crazy price rises. This is the thing that's so
Yeah.
crazy in the market. A lot of these watch companies have put the prices up when things are getting harder it just defies. Well, I suppose that's the inflationary pressure. We've got inflation a little bit out of control there. But the next 12 months, tell me this: say you had $100,000
Okay.
and you had to, whatever watch you bought, you had to sell it in 12 months. Would you rather keep the $100,000 up your sleeve, or would you buy a watch? And if so, what watch would you buy?
Uh, um, I don't honestly. If I had $100,000, I feel like that's a tough one. I would probably buy maybe a 5167 somewhere around there. What's retail on those? Like 60s.
Yep. Yep. It's
If I
the
could
Equinaut.
get
It's the
it at
Patek
retail.
Equinaut. Yes.
Yeah.
Fair point. Very
So,
hard to
but
get at, Reed. This is the
yeah,
crazy thing. The market is slowing. There are more, the market has slowed a lot,
yeah,
but it's still very hard to get watches at retail. That's an impossibility. In fact, that's harder than ever. Harder than ever. And no, there is a bit of slow. I don't think the thing is this. I don't think the market is going to collapse. It's not going to
no.
collapse.
It's basically flattened out to where it's going to stay, minus give or take a few thousand here and there on certain pieces. But I think it's where we're at now is where it's basically going to stay. I feel like for a while.
No problems. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Archie.
My stream. I'm just going to run an advert to close with, and then just stay on there because we'll do another recording. Thank you so much. So please, Chris, please come again. We really do enjoy your content and your it's great to talk to somebody in America who's been at the coalface. Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW,